problem we've had is trying to engage with people for whatever age they are. It's been very difficult. And it's about finding whatever age they are, if they're willing to participate. It's about being a voice of the youth, not a voice of other people here. It's a voice of the youth, and we need to be mindful of that when we go out and talk to the people and talk to the schools. The schools are very good with the school councils, and I'm sure they may have gone to the youth parliament, but if you look at the youth parliament, the last one, there was very little representation from Wallasey at the youth parliament, and I was disappointed at that. We need to engage our schools more and encourage them to send, or at least nominate people that they can choose amongst themselves. I mean, it should be their choice who they send, not us deciding off or picking on that. So I think that's the way Caroline's been asked to do. And we need Caroline to do it. I'm sure she's eminently capable of actually finding as a young person. I'm sorry putting a lot on your shoulders, Caroline, but I think it's important we get this one right, and it's important the politics will stay out of it.
Damien?
I'm not sure if this is the right time, because I think like the rest of us, it's sort of blindly blind as we set up this committee and move our way forward. If we are going to have a community, a young rep, I'd like to be female to balance it, obviously down to whoever is put forward. But I would like to know, I would like to think that there be a commitment from the whole of this constituency committee that part of that pot of money will be put aside for maybe a mini youth group to be able to decide with the money what they want to do for the youth, and do that through the youth forum and through the young people's parliament. So it would be nice if the committee makes a commitment from the committee that part of our pot will be dedicated to young people being whatever, I'm not talking school, teenage age type thing. So I'd like to think that would happen. It may not be the right place for it because we haven't made any agreements yet, but I would like that to be forwarded. And the other question is, now that we've elected these representatives, when are they going to be ready, or how are they going to be elected to sit on the task pinch?
Thanks, Mary. I mean, obviously what you're saying there about the young person, that is an issue for the task and finish group and that will come up naturally once you decide.
Can I just say that the remit for the young person is not in the field of the task and finish group. That is something the officers have been asked to do, to take away on fine. I don't think we should be interfering in that. If the task and finish group around, they should be indicating, not this committee deciding whether we spend lots of money or lots of money for young people. The task and finish should come back with their recommendations. We should leave them free to make recommendations to the committee. That's what it's about, without everybody chipping in and actually, somebody cooks for the broth. I think we're in danger of getting down that path. But if we leave the officers to go away, try and engage young people, whatever mechanism, the council's got lots of mechanisms they can to engage young people without politicians interfering. Allow the young people to come forward, allow them to make their own decisions, and then if part of that process is they want, and the task and finish group say we should have a little pot of money that they can actually administer, that's fine. Let's decide that at a later date. But the important thing is we engage, and another thing we said about the gender balance, it's not the fault of anybody. The gender balance is on the community representation is the way it is. They're the only people that put themselves forward, and you can't force people to put themselves forward. I'd like to see more of the gender balance, but it's still a case of who will put their name forward. It's something we did discuss quite at length last night about how do we try and engage other people to become part of the process post-March next year. And it may be that we need to just look at our information that goes out and the way the terminology of things, but then things that can be worked on. At the moment it's like we're a fledgling organisation, we're all trying to find the right answers with a myriad of different questions. I mean, we have to allow the task and finish group to do their work and come back with a series of recommendations. That's the best way forward without too much interference.
Okay,
thanks. Finally, okay, so I'm going to propose the recommendation which is read out before, that we agree to a process, that we've agreed with 5 individuals and the reservation of one place for the corruption of a young person. Second? Yeah. Okay, those in favour?
details around how we might move things forward in terms of the development of community representation. I'd like to look at both recruitment and development. The recruitment process that we've just gone through for our community reps was managed by VCOR, which is Voluntary and Community Action Wirral. They distributed the information to their networks, the council issued a press release, put the information on our website. And whilst as a constituency we got more applications than we had spaces for, the response still was unfortunately quite limited. And as we've already identified, there were noticeably no women that applied and no young people. So in terms of moving forward, I suggest that we give consideration to a borough-wide event prior to April 2014 to try and generate interest and to ensure that people that do apply understand the role and exactly what's expected of them in terms of not just representing their little piece of the constituency, but the onus is upon them to engage and consult with wider members of the community. We could involve our current community reps in that process. They could share their experiences. By that point they will have worked through this process for a number of months. And we can also use that event to enable community groups to actually network with each other, because sometimes those opportunities are only available on a smaller scale or in some areas not at all. So it would be a really useful exercise to try and bring community groups from across the constituency all together in one place. And actually that might be the way of selling that event. It's not a recruitment event, but hopefully that will be something that comes out of the process. And we'll get more individuals who are willing to come forward and express an interest in being part of this process. As Councillor Rabi mentioned, it's also about working with the schools, working with the Wallasey Youth Forum and other forums where young people meet to make sure that we're attracting young people into this process as well. Moving on that basis, leads me on to development, and in terms of that event that are proposed, we could also provide opportunities at that for individuals and groups to build skills. We can put them in contact with individuals and organisations who can help them with the development of their particular group and help them to move things forward as well, so they can meet with particular specialists that they need to drive their work forward. And that would help us share skills, not just across the constituency, but also in terms of across the borough as well. But we could break off at that, which is obviously a borough-wide event, into our constituency area and work with the groups within that. This then leads me on to an approach that will underpin the work that we're going to do in this constituency, and that's asset-based community development, or EPCD for short. And some members will have attended a workshop by Cormac Russell, who was part of Nurture Development. And I couldn't possibly hope to do justice to the way that Cormac talks and how passionate he is about EPCD. But just as a bit of introduction to it for those who haven't heard about it before, the process is basically about finding out what matters to local communities and tapping into that energy. It's about taking a different approach. Instead of focusing on what communities don't have and what services they need and what can be done to them, it's about starting from a different viewpoint and looking at what they do have, what they can contribute, and then looking at the barriers that need to be removed in order to enable them to do that. So it's about identifying the assets that exist within communities, and Cormac also talks about looking at personal gifts, and he says about head, heart and hands coming together and linking that with the physical capital within an area, so community buildings, libraries, other facilities, joining them together and co-producing as a unit. So rather than the council and other agencies doing things to communities, insisting that we know better about what they need, it's about taking a different approach. So communities will recognise that there's things that they do best, and we recognise that too. And it's about balancing that with institutions and systems doing what they can't do. So Nurture Development set out what they call the stepping stones. And again, I know that's little tiny writing, and I'm not going to go through it in detail. But in essence, they talk about the starting point being what they call community builders. Now, I think that refers to, for example, elected members who will go out into communities and identify the people who can bring other people together. And the nurture development call them community connectors. And there's another organisation that I'm aware of called Empower, who are a public service transformation organisation. And they categorise people as settlers, prospectors and pioneers. Settlers are the majority of people within our communities. They're traditional, risk-averse, more likely to follow others rather than to take the lead. The second group they call prospectors. They're less likely to come up with ideas and more likely to be proactive because of the esteem that they'll get from others. And then the very small minority of people in communities they call pioneers. And they're the people who have an emotional sense of right and wrong. They're more creative, they're the ones who are more likely to volunteer, more likely to come forward and generate ideas. So the principle's the same. It's about identifying those people. Nurture development talk about them going off, creating small action groups, coming up with ideas and activities, and ultimately building a community plan about what the community can do for itself, what it needs help with, and what the community wants from us in terms of these are the services that we want you to provide. The rest we can do ourselves. This is what we might need a little bit of support with. In terms of bringing that to life, because it's a little bit of a theoretical concept, and what does that mean in reality? I'll talk you through this. It would be good if we could start to build information around what's available in all our constituencies, in all our wards, and building on that the idea of community connectors or pioneers, whatever you want to call them. This is my very simple PowerPoint version of what is actually quite a complex application. Maybe something like PlanWeb, there may be some people that are familiar with that application. That in essence builds different layers of information on the computer. So it might on one layer set out all the physical capital within our community, in our constituency. It might plot all the social landlord properties in the area and other such information that builds up the full picture of what assets we've got within the constituency. This is a map of Wallasey. This is purely for illustrative purposes, so it's not meant to represent any particular individuals. But if, for example, we look at the red dot, that could be an individual who lives in Barnston Lane, for example, and that individual supports the elderly residents within their street. So the little yellow circle around that is their area of influence. We then put a little green dot. As I said, this is very simplistic, and this is done more for my benefit than yours in terms of understanding how this can be of benefit to us. The green dot might be a church leader, but he has influence over a number of congregations. Again, the light green dots that are set out. The blue dot might be a leader of a neighbourhood watch scheme, and she may be, that scheme covers 3 particular roads that shows her area of influence. And the aim would be that we had coverage across the constituency, and we use this process to identify where the gaps are, where is it we're not getting key messages out to, where is it potentially that people are isolated. If we start actually having some way of physically seeing that, that might be a process for us to start to tackle particular issues. It can then be within this information system that we click on, say, the blue dot, and we see the details related to that community connector or pioneer. This is the information, for example, that Joe Blocks has provided to us. I said she was a woman, didn't I, Bob? Josephine Blocks. Leader of the Neighbourhood Watch Scheme, full-time job as a gardener, also an FA qualified coach. She coaches young people in football of a weekend. What this means that we can start to do is we can start to look at brokering services across the constituency. So bear in mind, these are people who have come forward which may be skilled in first aid. That might be something that she's willing to share with a group of young people. And we can start to share those skills, not just across our constituency, but also across the wider borough as well. So, I know it's pretty theoretical, but it's a starting point. The possibilities with this could be endless, but we can certainly, if we go down this route, it's somewhere we can start, try and work out what we've got where the gaps are, and try and move neighbourhood working forward.
Thank you, Caroline. Any questions? Absolutely.
Thanks, Chair. One of the points that Caroline raised was the kind of community organisers kind of role. I'm aware, obviously, at least we have a number of people who've been appointed through a government fund as community organisers. Would they have any input into this process, either formally or informally? Because clearly it is their full-time role to be out and about in the community day to day, speaking to people, visiting these organisations, seeing where the gaps are, looking whether those gaps can be developed. And it does kind of seem that if we don't link in with them, we would be duplicating what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just to expand upon that, obviously, Lisa can be hands on the tenant landlords within the Lisa. They have a number of street reps, so the actual information is being gathered by other people. We just need to tap into where the information is and utilise that information for the benefit of what we're doing. You know, there's probably areas where the information is a bit sparse, so we need to probably go and seek it. Where it's abundance, we should be utilising that abundance of information from our what seems to be our partners in the process.
Just a couple of questions. I went to this presentation, and I must say I've seen a lot of them over the years. I've played down in Brighton, and certainly gone back over the last long time. Going back to 97, there were lots of similar schemes to this. I remember, different names, dressed up differently now. But I do think, having said that, I do think it's very good idea. But I also think it's potential. And I'm sorry to be negative because I'm not doing these things. But I do think as well, it's how it's handled. Because there's the potential for big conflict as well within the different areas, and stepping on people's areas instead of complimenting. Very important. And also, whether it's the builders, the connectors, or the pioneers, are they being paid? Are they being paid? There's tensions there as well. So, I think the ideas are excellent, and it brings together, and as Ian said, it's sort of joining a lot of those gaps within the constituency, and utilising a lot of those skills and a lot of the people we've got on board, and which we interviewed yesterday, which we talked about yesterday, who put forward their application for. I've also got those skills going back on the previous regime for a long time. So there's a lot to play for, I think, within this. There's a lot of unanswered questions as well. And I think also it will complement, and that's the idea, complement this new way of working, these new models of working. There's no money around but it's early days yet, but I do think it's quite exciting. It's mindful. In a lot of walks, a lot of communities, there's a lot of tensions about it's not handled well.
Are there any more questions? Okay. I think the idea that you put forward is really good, and I would recommend that we look at this borough-wide event to generate interest with recruitment, etc., and introduce this ABC, the asset-based community development approach to work in a constituency. So I'd like to move that we adopt. Second that. Okay. Let's take a vote on that. For? Unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, future meetings. Now, obviously we've used is just have 2 venues for meetings, one here in the town hall, and maybe one towards Lisa Norton. That way I'd be looking for suggestions on venues that we could use there, and that way 2 venues, there's no confusion on where we'll be, and alternate between the 2 obviously. So, one first.
Yeah, obviously, I think Lisa more like to Jeff and May, so take it out quite a number of people in the hall there, so we've got a facility out there for having community, but I'll put some other suggestions, really be as wide and broad as we can.
Chairman, I would suggest almost a sort of massive kind of community centre at the Christchurch Parish Centre. We have a big one, Oxford School. We have good public transport links through the train station. I hear what Ronnie said, but I don't think the value centre has good transport links.
Okay. Okay, we've got 2 venues suggested there. For obviously, since I'm going to need to look into them and decide on which one.
Well, I'll do the nomination, Chair. I should be looking into this one and suitable venue for everyone.
Is that agreed?
For everyone.
Well, I think what I'm going to be looking at is obviously availability, which we'll be talking about that. Secondly, I think the issue of public transport is really important as well. But, you know, that would be the main criteria. Car park and a few housekeeping issues, but it's nothing.
All I can say, that's on the 28th of October, public transport to be New Brighton, Wallasey Constituency, more missing to be a half hour or so.
Thanks for that, Mark. So can you plan on, I can look into that.
I will push, we have a railway station as well. We would like to
Well, all I'm trying to avoid is that we have a roving location where we don't know where we are. I think 2 locations is the best idea, and I'll look into the suitability.
Chair, if I may, I'm not going to argue hard against 2 locations, but if I may, we do have 6 wards. We used to have 2 wards per area for. Perhaps it would be better to look at 3 locations than 2. At least then we're accommodating the 3 previous wards.
Our next meeting is going to be in December, so I'll look at the 2 that were suggested there, have been suggested now, and then we'll come back on the 3rd ward if we feel there's a need. Is that okay?
That's great. Yeah, great, Chair. I think we can look at this in the future aspect. We're only very short in the time. We can't have many meetings between now and March. So I think we look to have a plan around, you know, represent the 3 parts of this issue. I think that's really something should be looking post March next year.
Okay, so I'll just look at 2 suggestions. We take a vote on that. Those in favour of 2. Sorry. Dates of next meeting. Yeah, we'll discuss a third location at the next meeting. So I'll look at 2 for now. Obviously, I think the town hall somewhere further out, and if it's necessary that we'll also be getting feedback from the public on this as well, where we feel we can get to. So should we agree anyway that we'll just look at 2 and we'll discuss a third possible location at the next meeting. Take a vote on that. Let's vote. Unanimous, carried. Okay, and finally on the agenda, I've not been informed of any other urgent business. Nothing's come through. So I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance. I'd particularly like to thank the officers for the work that they've done in Caroline. And all the work that's been put in by the members around town, in particular Caroline. Thank you very much.